Hi there, Manuel here. So today I want to talk to you about a liquidity trading strategy, or like a liquidity grab strategy. I'm going to go through what liquidity actually is, especially when we're talking about it on a Forex chart. And I'm going to show you how the banks trade off liquidity, really. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go into all of that in a second, and also in a second, I'm also going to give you access to the people that I personally trade with, who are 5, 6, 7 figure traders who have taught me all this stuff about liquidity and how they trade off liquidity. They look for two very simple patterns that you can identify on the chart, and they trade off that, and they have huge success because they've actually learned to trade with the banks instead of against the banks, which is what most retail traders do. And I'm going to go into all of that in a second. I'm going to let you know how you can get access to these traders and trade with them completely for free next week. Yeah. So I will go into all of that in a second, but for now, let's go into this liquidity and what I mean by this liquidity strategy. So firstly, the technical definition of liquidity is it's a high volume of activity in the market. Yeah. When we're talking about liquidity on a Forex chart, you'll see these places where I put these dollar signs. Now, what that usually means is where a lot of money is being accumulated. And that's because people, especially retail traders, they're taught to trade a certain way. They're taught to trade what we call the clean side, because they don't know what to do in here. They don't know how to trade this sort of stuff. But this sort of stuff is easy to trade. I mean, if you look at this, we have support and resistance. Very, very easy to trade. That's why this sort of stuff is put out there by the banks. It's kind of like a setup. You've got this beautiful like touches that all just look so clean, and people think, right, there's indecision here, because some people think, okay, when it gets to the top here, this is a resistance. When it gets to the top here, it will bounce and I sell it to go down. Other people think when it gets to the bottom here, it will bounce. This is a support line. When it will bounce and I sell it to go up. Other things, there's loads of these patterns that are put out there by the institutions. They're the people that trade off these things, because they know that people can only, a lot of retail traders only trade this sort of stuff. These beautiful trend lines that they put out there sometimes, they're so nice, these touches on these lines, and you think, it's got to, the retail trader just thinks, okay, yeah, I'll trade off these lines, these imaginary lines that are out there that aren't existing, but they're just such clean price action. I mean, look at this sort of stuff here, this support and resistance stuff. This is how most people are trading off things like this. They're seeing the tops, like I said to you before, they're seeing these beautiful tops. Look at these touches, beautiful touches. They're waiting for the next touch to sell this. The other people, the other side, they're buying off this. It's coming down, it's touching. They're waiting for it to come down, and they buy off it. And what happens? These people there yonked. It takes them out. The other thing I wanted to say, when they've got these beautiful patterns like that, if I'm selling off this line, I'm putting my sell order in here, and I'm putting my stop loss up here, and millions of people are doing the same. And the banks can see your orders. That's why we have this here. There's loads of money, liquidity building up around these lines. That's why banks come and they just wipe it out. They wipe people's money out here. Also, look, there was probably a beautiful trend line here as well. Have a look at this. Look at that beautiful trend line. Probably people are also thinking, right, when it gets down to there, I will sell off this as well. And where's the money going to be? Under the lines, under the lines. If I'm going to buy off this line, that's going to be my buy. My stop loss is going to be somewhere under this line, under this imaginary liquidity line. This is the way the banks are seeing it, and the way we see it as a retail trader, you think, that's a beautiful line. It can't break. Look, it's been trying to break. It can't break. And then this happens, and there you go. You think, oh, I'm buying, and bang, it just yonks you out. And there you go. Now you've just lost your money there. Let me just pause this for a second. But when you get used to knowing how to trade this, you realize this is the liquidity grab that we were talking about. You realize that these liquidity areas are great areas to trade off. Not the same way other people are doing. You wait for the liquidity to get taken. So when they take the liquidity here, banks have to push, they have to inject money into the market to move the price up to take to take the liquidity. Yeah, to take the people that are selling here. They have to buy their orders back. And now the banks are in what we call drawdown. So they have to come back to here. And this is the strategy that we trade off. Now we're waiting for the money, for the banks to come back to here. Okay. And let me show you what happens here. Let me just move this out of the way a second. Look, price comes beautifully back to there, triggers into there. This is what we call a banker's candle, and then bang, it's gone. You get your, you get out, you get your money, you get your risk to reward, and you're done. Do you know? Because you know with a certain degree of accuracy that the banks are coming back to these areas. You know, same with this sort of stuff here. This was a box. This is one of the strategies we trade. Poor retail traders here at the top here are thinking this is a beautiful support line. I mean, resistance line. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, and then boom, takes you all out. All the money there's gone. Then comes back. People think it comes back to some imaginary line here, but it's the banker's candle. That's what we trade off. That was one of our trades. Entry there. Look at this pinpoint entry to take off. Again, these kind of things as well. Trend lines. What do they say in the retail world? You wait for the third touch to confirm the trend line. So that's the first touch. Comes almost a second. Okay, a second there. You'd be waiting for this to buy off this. And where's your money going to be? Underneath here. Bang, that takes you out. What else? There's usually those other ones, the break and retest guys. So they're waiting for it to break, come and retest, and then sell it off. But then it pops through the line. Because the lines are so subjective. It's hard to trade this sort of clean stuff, because again, these are these liquidity lines that where banks are waiting on us. I'll show you on another chart. There's a chart we traded here, the euro. Look at how beautiful this looks. Look at this. I mean, this is just gorgeous. Look how many touches we've got here. 3 beautiful touches. Of course, you're thinking this next time it comes up here, it's going to touch. What does it do? It yonks right through. Takes people's money. Same here. These lines are they're so clean. They're easy to see. They're easy to see. And if they're easy for you to see, they're easy for millions of other traders to see. And they all think the same thing. We're going to buy off these lines, these imaginary lines. And where are you going to put your stop loss? Underneath the line, because the line is so solid it can't be broken. Touch, touch, touch. And sometimes you will win with a retail strategy. You will. But usually the risk to rewards aren't great. Touch, touch, touch. What's that? 4 touches, almost a 5th touch. Of course, most retailers are going to be loading up this area here to buy until boom, it gets yonked and you get taken out there. Do you know? All sorts of things. There's channels here. All these things that you're taught. Look, another beautiful touches here. All these things you're taught that they just don't work. You know, they just don't work consistently. You can't get consistency from them. That's why we trade. Look, another beautiful trend line there. We trade off we wait for the liquidity to be grabbed and then return back to these things we're calling bankers candles. And then we trade off that instead. Do you know? Because it's just a lot more reliable. And will you win every time with that? No. But you know, the risk, you will win more of the times because it's a higher probability, and your drawdown will be a lot lower, and your risk to rewards will be huge. You know, they'll be huge compared to retail trading. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to come and learn exactly how we do this sort of stuff, how we look for these 2 patterns, how we use liquidity in a different way to retail traders, then you can come and actually trade with us. We have a group here where we get on, like I said, 5, 6, 7 figure earners. These are the leaders. They get on every single day, Monday right through to Friday, from 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 5 p.m. GMT, every single day. And they're on usually about hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. And they go through the strategy, what we're calling the banker strategy. And they show you these areas, these 2 simple patterns that we look for on the charts. And we trade off these patterns and we do so well with them. Do you know what I mean? And we even have an indicator that actually helps you find the most probable areas on the charts using our strategy. So we trade with the banks instead of against the banks. So if that's something that is of interest to you, then all you need to do to get onto next week's free training is just go below this video. If you click on the link there, once you've opted in, you'll get all the details you need for next week's free training. Like I said, starts Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. GMT. But either way, listen, I do hope you got some value from this. If you did, please take a second, just give it a thumbs up. Also share it with anyone else you think may get some value from it as well. If you have any questions at all, anything on liquidity, any sort of liquidity trading strategy that you personally have, I'd love to hear about it. Please don't hesitate. Just leave it in the comments box below. All right. Again, thanks for listening. Till next time, you have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.